Welcome to Bosu 3D. I am Lawrence Viscontini, and I am proud and happy to introduce to you my friend and colleague with the Bosu family, Bernadette O'Brien, whom you may know has a nickname, Super Betty, from all of our active aging SpiroFit releases together. We're going to be taking you through some interactive, playful games using the Bosu 3D system, which comes with the interactive device you'll see in just a moment with the Bosu balance trainer, which you want to inflate per the manual instructions, wear appropriate footwear, have hydration nearby, perhaps a towel, and make sure that you feel rested and comfortable and only go as advanced or progress to the exercises that feel comfortable for you. In addition, you may want to add the soft Bosu fitness ball, the tubing that comes with the whole system, and above all, you will notice that your balance in a plethora of positions really increases over time. Bernadette, how did you feel when you first started working with the Bosu balance trainer?
Well, when I first started, I was so impressed by its softness, its flexibility, its ability to let me feel like I can get close to the floor, and I just enjoyed it tremendously.
And if you wanted to work on any movement patterns where you'd put the Bosu in a special part of your house to go up and down, didn't you used to put it against the wall?
Yes, I did. And that way I would have to have the wall as my support.
But if you notice, the Bosu 3D system now allows you the support that the wall would give you with an ergonomic handle to hold on to, but what else do you get?
I'm able to be secure and safe and know that I can do the exercises in the progressions and the regressions as much as I am able.
And unlike in some programs that might use the Bosu balance trainer in front of a wall, you can actually now kick your legs through the center, you can raise your arms and legs to the side, you can choose how much you want to hold on and how much you want to incorporate the whole handle in the first place, versus a wall is always there. You can choose less stability or more stability with the upper body.
Yes, absolutely. And I can see a distance rather than look at one flat white wall.
Wonderful. And sometimes the wall's not even white, right?
Right.
And you can put it next to a mirror, and then you can watch your own form. So the very first thing we're going to do before moving into the workout is really called acclimation, inflation acclimation. Are all Bosu balance trainers, even in the classes you teach, inflated slightly differently?
Yes, they are.
So it's important to be familiar with how inflated your Bosu is on any given day, even if it's yours at home, because sometimes it may feel, if you're a little tired, a little less inflated, or if you have your Bosu balance trainer in an environment that changes, air conditioning to heat, it may also feel that it changes, so you want to be aware of what is the air inside my Bosu balance trainer for today. By the way, aren't you the first person in the world to teach the Bosu balance trainer for active aging population exclusively?
I am the very first person to offer a class for the active aging using the Bosu.
So what is the name of that class?
The name of that class is Bosu, Stability and Mobility for the Active Aging.
And where do you offer that?
I offer that in Glen Rock, New Jersey, through the community school in the borough of Glen Rock.
As of taping this SpiroFit release, that's the current information of where you're offering this on the East Coast of the United States. Bernadette, I'm going to invite you to look down at the Bosu 3D system and walk around to the other side so that you can actually face me, and so our friends watching will be able to watch us interact with each other, and then for most of our workout, we'll actually be facing you and you'll be facing us. You'll notice that during the workout, for motivation purposes only in this particular release, there'll be some music playing in the background. We neither request nor require that volume nor beats per minute, nor are we trying to match the beat in the phrase for our introductory Bosu 3D workout, right? Correct. Okay, so how are we going to tap that with our heels? With the hands up and push down and just see how inflated is that Bosu today. Maybe with the right foot and then the left foot and then the right foot, just like you do with your students at home, practicing, seeing how inflated is my Bosu balance trainer, and do we want to put the heels at different places all the time? Absolutely. Imagine perhaps that the top of the Bosu is like bubble wrap. Now push down with the whole bottom of the foot at different places of the Bosu balance trainer, and you can think, oh, my Bosu balance trainer feels very high today. Or no, my Bosu balance trainer, this one doesn't have as much air. I must tell someone to put some more air, or if it's your own, get the pump that comes with the Bosu balance trainer, this whole system, and add some more air. How does it feel?
Excellent.
Okay, wonderful. Now let's do a little hand upper body workout. So I'm going to invite you to take your hands to the knees and show a squat position, and then go down and squat, and reach towards the Bosu logo at the top of the Bosu balance trainer, and then come back to the knees and then reverse that squat. When you do the squat, unlike a hinge, try to get the hips as low as you can, like low by the knees, and go ahead back up and down a couple times. Reach forward just one arm only, and then push down into the Bosu balance trainer, take that hand back to the knees, and then stand up. Let's go to that a few more times, Bernadette, but one hand only. So we squat down, reach one hand into the Bosu balance trainer, push down, bring your hand back to the knee and stand up, and then we do it again with the other. That's the appropriate way to warm up. So it's one side at a time, pushing down into the Bosu balance trainer and reverse that. Now let's go down to a squat and push both hands into the top of the Bosu. Let your weight go forward, perhaps your heels come up, and then you come back, heels down, hands back to the knees, and then stand up. Let's try that a few times. So what she's doing is really putting the weight onto the upper body. As the heels come up, that's getting the whole upper body warm, isn't it? That's why you're doing it again and again and again, showing our friends what it looks like. Squatting down, reaching the hands forward. Bernadette loves to work out, and she loves to get involved and warm up. So we'll do this a few more times. And squatting down as we reach forward, hands to the Bosu balance trainer, heels come up, notice that weight shift, deep squat, hands to the knees, and reverse that. Wonderful. So that feels comfortable in terms of lower body and upper body acclimation, right? Wonderful. So what I'm going to invite you to do now is, in a moment, we're going to touch the Bosu balance trainer surface of the handle of the 3D. I'm going to demonstrate here without the piece of equipment to show absolute progressions where you could get some time adding no instability under the feet, and then you'll be demonstrating with the Bosu balance trainer. Why don't you face our friends who are watching, and in a moment, Bernadette, I'm going to have you put your hands on the handle, step up, up, and down, and come over to me. Are you ready? You put your hands to the handle, lift up, up, notice that hand for support, and come down. And then try to go back over, keeping the hands where they are, and release the hands down. Wonderful. So that's a little acclimation of knowing how you can go over the top. And we'll call this going over the top when you have your hands on the Bosu balance trainer. So let's try it again. Hands to the top, come up, and this time on the end, act a little hamstring curl and go back up to warm up the muscles of the back of the leg. And let's go back at a pace that feels comfortable but challenging for you. Now, as you do this, you can try to look forward more because you have that stability there. And you can try this when you do a hamstring curl or a kick, take the opposite arm and wave at our friends who are watching. So as you come over this side, your left hand waves. And as you go over this side, the right hand waves. Wonderful. And now, my friend, I asked you if you could do the opposite arm to wave. So come over to this side and do the hamstring curl and wave with your right hand and then go back over. Just a little mental preparation, mental training, and the whole neuroplasticity using the Bosu balance trainer, but also using the handle system for support and stability. Let's do that one more time and come up and stay on top. Now, my friends, for stabilizing, it's important that you move as you are. As you're walking your feet, we call this making light compressions. It's as if you're walking lightly. We'll call this walking lightly, or gently pressing the feet into the top of the vinyl Made in America dome of the Bosu balance trainer, which we actually call, when we make the Bosu, the bladder, the dome of the Bosu, making alternating compressions. Now, keeping the chest really tall, the pelvic floor engages, the tongue stays where?
At the roof of the mouth, behind the teeth.
Right, at the roof of the mouth behind the teeth. That helps improve balance, stability, and improves neck stability. Now, while you're doing this, I'm going to ask if you could wave to our friends with your left hand, decreasing the contact points with one hand. Wonderful. And change to the other hand. Waving at our friends. And could you then maybe touch the handle with both fingertips, all fingertips, and then take all hands off for a few compressions and back on for a few compressions. Knowing that that's there also makes you feel comfortable that you could release with one hand, correct? Let's do now some alternating patterns in the sagittal plane. As you're holding on, let's do kick-throughs with opposite legs with the toes up, trying to kick an imaginary surface in front of you with the heel, pushing down with the heel, working the muscles in the front of the leg called the anterior tibialis. Some progressions for this is as you kick one leg, the same arm waves and loses contact. So left hand left, right hand right, and then try some of that opposing arm and leg pattern. So when the left kicks, the right arm waves. Wonderful. She's waving at you a lot, so I hope you're waving back at her, or at least trying that. Notice how the toes are up, and notice how we're doing oppositional patterns, everything. What plane is this of movements when we're going front to back, Bernadette?
Sagittal plane.
And do we always want to train the sagittal plane first?
Yes, we do.
When we're working on top of the Bosu balance trainer, absolutely. To get on and off, we recommend the frontal approach just to get up on top and down, as we saw her do in the beginning, because it's a less daunting approach than all the way from the back, which we'll show you in a moment. Now, my friends, we're gonna hold on here and do some knee lifts, where the knees go in between the handles because it's safe and effective, and you have space there. Could you do this exactly like this with the wall in front of you?
Not precisely.
Exactly. You'd have all this limit. Could you do some waving? Same arm, same knee?
I might be able to do a little bit, but not the full range.
Right. You need this space, so that's why this handle allows everything to go forward in the sagittal plane. Now, what about opposite waves? Opposite arm and leg wave. So we're going to raise one knee and the opposite arm. Wonderful. Could you also do presses overhead instead of just waving? Absolutely. What about arms to the side? That introduces a different plane of movement. The knees going forward, not a kick, just the knee lift. Just a knee, staying with the knee lift. So when the knees go forward and the arms go to the side, this is called multiplanar. The legs stay in the sagittal plane, but your arms are going in the
Frontal plane.
and that's like life. Life is multiplanar sometimes. Let's go back to make compressions on top. Just doing our little marches for a little bit of cardiovascular game in between all that strength training and balance and coordination for neuroplasticity. Do we want to go back and forth sometimes between cardio and strength?
Yes, we do.
Wonderful. Now we're going to move with the legs in the side-to-side movement, frontal plane. So we're holding on with the fingertips, and then we're going to make gentle little lifts with the legs to the side, keeping the toes pointing forward. Notice how Bernadette lifts the legs and the toes point forward, dorsiflexing the ankles so the toes are up, working the anterior tibialis. And then, while the legs are going to the side, she's going to wave with the hand of the side that lifts. Left side, left side. Now your arms are waving. What plane are your arms in? Wonderful. If you're waving front to back, the arms are sagittal and the legs are going? Absolutely. Legs are frontal. So we're doing upper body, lower body separation, which is functional and integrated. So you're waving to the side. Could you push forward with one arm, the opposite arm of the leg that goes to the side? Wonderful. So here again are oppositional patterns, leg to the side. You'd be able to hold on to the handle of the Bosu balance trainer 3D system as you take the legs to the side. You have all this freedom, all this leg to work, but you're staying on top of the Bosu balance trainer. Bernadette, would you normally spend this much time on top of the Bosu balance trainer without touching anything?
No, I would not.
Right, so what are you getting?
I'm getting more exercise, more strength, and more of a workout.
Wonderful. Let's go back to make compressions. And while your left hand, just the fingertips of your left hand, take the right hand at your side or out here, see how far you can walk towards me, keeping your left hand on the handle, safe and secure and stable, and then come back here and switch. And in this situation, I'll allow you to give your back to me and turn over your left shoulder. Left hand goes out. Notice how the feet walk independently of each other and have to stabilize independently of each other. And then slowly come back here, change the hand position. Try to hold just with the fingertips if you can, and then turn towards me. How are you doing over here? Completely turning the hips. Could you turn a little more and actually face the back wall and come back now back towards the front? Only as far as you feel comfortable, but asking myself, how far can I go so that I push the boundaries of comfort but still stay safe and come back to center? So that was cardiovascular interspersed with strength, back and forward with this introductory acclimation. Now, my friend, I'm going to invite you to exit. So while holding on, you exit away from me over your left shoulder, just in the same way that we mounted before, all the way down. Wonderful. Now I'd like to show our friends who are watching a frontal way to exit, where we did to the side frontal plane on and off. Another way is just like marching or walking, sagittal plane. So if we come back here in a moment and add a little marching, we would call this, if this were a clock, what time?
6 o'clock.
Absolutely, all the way behind. I'm looking at my Bosu balance trainer. 12's up there, 3 and 6 are on the side. I'm back here. I'm going to take my hands forward, not reach forward first, but step up and touch. Make my little compressions, fingertips on, and then step back and release. The key is not to hold on, but to use that as part of your movement as to go up. You know it's there. step back, and as you release. It's security and safety, but not dependability. We don't want to reach and make the body work. We want to make the body work and know that it's there as we simultaneously reach. So hands are up, and you step up and then touch the handle just like I showed you, and you make your compressions. Beautiful, safe, comfortable, and fluid. I think you've done this once or twice before. Making your marches, let's show again how you can enter. Now she started farther away behind the Bosu balance trainer. That's a progression. And exit, and looking down. Wonderful. You have to look down because the Bosu balance trainer nicely and safely, securely fits into its base of the 3D system. So knowing over your right and left shoulder where that is all the difference of having your clients exit and enter from the sagittal plane. Let's go up one more time. Standing up first and touching second, and then make some compressions here. Now I can make this a little more complicated. We've done some kicks, we've done some knee lifts, sagittal plane. We've done some leg lifts. Let's add external resistance. We've played with what touches the top of the Bosu balance trainer while you're marching, and that's called movement, and that's called contact points. But we also have something else called external stimulus. So I'm going to introduce the Bosu Fitness Ball. And this is a soft, ergonomic softball that you can use from side to side, and later there are other places and other programs where you can use this ball. It's 4 pounds. I'm going to invite you to put it in your right hand, and then take your right hand out to the side while you're marching, palms up, and make some bicep curls. Upper body is doing these bicep curls in the frontal plane, but the lower body's marching. So now, are there daily life activities that you have, Bernadette, that involve walking, sometimes on an unstable surface where you're using your muscles to lift things?
Absolutely.
Groceries and farmer market, right?
My suitcase and my briefcase.
Do you travel?
I do travel.
Great. Let's do the same thing with the other side, my friends. That was about 8 repetitions. So notice she's holding on. You can use your hand. You can use your fingers. And now she's doing her biceps with her elbow, flexion and extension over here and side. Wonderful. So you're doing cardiovascular and strength combined. And why is it important sometimes, last one please, and bring the ball back to me. Why is it important, thank you, sometimes that we train on an unstable surface? Is life stable or is life unstable?
Life is unstable, and also we want to increase our balance and be able to make it better so that we are able to stand erect and use the core and be strong.
Wonderful. Could I ask you, please, to exit to your left, over in the frontal plane? Wonderful. And you're going to stay right there. And I'm going to show you the next exercise you're going to do using the ball, external stimulus, more resistance, changing contact points, combining cardio and strength. I hope you're excited. You stay right there. In a moment, you're going to stay right there, please. Come back here. You're going to hold this in your left hand. With your right hand, you're going to step here. You're going to squat down and then step up. Squat down and step together. So it's just a squat on and off, as you've done many times with me without the handle, but now you have the right hand constantly in contact. I will give you some cues for what to do with the ball as we go through this. The ball goes in your left hand, the right hand comes onto the handle, and you right foot goes on the top, you do a little squat, and then step up, do a little bicep curl here, and step down and squat, and a bicep curls into the squat. Good, and stand back up. So the right foot can stay on the entire time. Squat, stand up. And the hand is down here, and then squat and stand up. And back to the floor. Back to the floor. Good. Squat here with me. Squat down. And now come up onto the Bosu balance trainer, keeping your right hand always on the handle. Good, and stand up with me. Right on top, just like I am. Bring your feet up here together. Good, and left hand is the ball. Wonderful, so squat, bring the ball up to the shoulder, onto the floor. Good, and now stand up, feet together. Back onto the Bosu balance trainer, and stand up here. Squat down to the floor, hands back to the leg, squat up, and now on top of the Bosu balance trainer. Ready? Change hands and change ball. Wonderful. And come back to the right side. Stay here. Give me a bicep curl. Now stand up. Come back to me. Bicep curl. And stand together towards me. And squat together. And step up to the left. And squat together. and up to the right. Let's do 2 more of these. Notice how she's breathing, core is engaged, and where's your tongue, Bernadette?
The roof of my mouth.
Let's do 1 more. Squat, stand up, make little compressions, and hand the softball back to me and hold back on. Was that challenging?
Yes, it was.
Coordination?
Yes.
Strength?
Yes.
Some cardiovascular?
Yes.
Could you do that just like I did on the floor?
Yes.
But are you going to get the same benefits of balance?
No.
Because it's not as stable, right?
And you won't work the strength at the same time that you're working the cardio.
Right, because this makes you always move the feet, right?
Yes.
Right. So now I'm going to invite you to exit in the sagittal plane behind you. You look over your left shoulder and your right shoulder and you step tall. Wonderful. Now what's coming up are some back work and some core work using a down and up seated version. Something else you can't do on the floor without the Bosu balance trainer. And regardless of your ability to balance, you're going to use the handle. And what I love about this is we're going to use the handle as a strength assisting device so that even if you think, I don't need a handle there on my Bosu balance trainer, you have to use it to get these strengthening exercises for the latissimus dorsi, big muscles that run down your back that are important for pulling actions, just like we did some pulling actions here with the soft ball. You ready? Yes. So stay right there and watch me. Stay right there and watch me. Thank you. In a moment, you're going to come to this side. You're going to put your back to the Bosu balance trainer, but your left hand goes right on the handle and your back arm reaches forward and you just lower yourself to a sitting position. Here's the key part. You use this left hand and pull, keeping the elbow very close to the body, facing our SpiroFit logo. Exhale and pull yourself up. And we're going to go down and up a few times. So I'm going to invite you to come here. Your left hand touches the left side of the handle. Your right arm reaches forward, and you know where your Bosu balance trainer is. You know how close your feet are to the edge of the whole system, and down you go. You squat down, and how comfortable does that feel?
Very.
Now I want you, before you stand up, raise the toes a little bit, put the toes down. Raise the heels, put them down. So you feel very stable and secure onto the floor, and pretend you're going to stand up and pull. You feel that action, right? Wonderful. So we're just pretending, right? Pretend, just add that little bit of pull so you know to prepare. As we prepared the feet, we want to prepare the upper body. Now I'm going to have you breathe and stand up, pull in and stand up, adding a little momentum action with this hand forward, this hand back. Does it assist you by using that pulling action?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And how does it feel when you're all the way down there on something that's so much higher than the floor and softer?
It's very comfortable and encouraging.
Comfortable, encouraging. Now we're going to add a little element of surprise to this, which is just a horseback riding bouncing-like action. So the hand stays up, and we're going to sit all the way down. And we're going to add a little bit of feet flat, add a little bouncing, and when you feel comfortable and you have enough momentum in your bounce, adding that pulling action, adding an exhalation, blowing the air out, and we stand up. Wonderful. How about we do that a few more times? How about we do them, I'll count them out, 87 repetitions. Should we do 87 repetitions? Okay, 2 more. Exhale on the way up, adding that elbow, pulling right into the rib cage and stand. Wonderful, and let's do one more time, slowly lowering down. Notice how she doesn't let herself go and just plop. It's a very controlled deceleration phase. And last time, you're gonna pull yourself and stand up. Wonderful. Now, my friend, you're going to turn around and go to the other side. All the way to the other side of the Bosu balance trainer. What happens here? Are we gonna do the same muscle group, or are we gonna do the opposite muscle group?
We're going to do the opposite muscle group.
Right. We're going to do the other side of the same muscle group. So I'm going to invite you to turn away to the SpiroFit logo. Your right hand holds the handle. You notice how close your feet are to the Bosu balance trainer. And then when you feel comfortable, down you go. Slowly, looking down. Notice how the knees stay behind the toes and you feel comfortable there. Raise the toes, plant them down. Raise the heels, plant them down. Pretend you're going to pull and just realize that you're going to exhale through pursed lips. Your other arm is out forward for counterbalance. Add a little bouncing-like movement. And when you feel comfortable, draw the navel in, blow out the air, and stand up. Exhale and pushing up. Wonderful. Does it feel comfortable using your hands?
Yes, it
You also do this with your clients without using the handle at all, don't you?
Yes, I do.
But it's wonderful that it's there, and it helps you train these muscles of the back that pull. Let's try it 2 more times. Slowly we lower down into a seated motion, controlling that phase that goes down. A little balance, blowing out the air and standing up. Wonderful, and we're going to do that one more time. Breathing and slowly deceleration. Nice and easy. The arm stays high, pelvic floor stays engaged, the chest stays lifted, the tongue stays to the roof of the mouth. The only other thing to do before we stand is a little smile, and we exhale and bring it up. Now that we're standing, we've done a balance of both sides. We're going to go face our friends who are watching us, hold your handle, and go back on top of the Bosu balance trainer. So you touch on top. Notice how she always enters and exits from the side, although you can enter and exit, as we've shown you, in the sagittal plane from far away. Now, my friend, I'm going to show you what else the Bosu system comes with, which is these handles. I'm going to reach down and give you this for your left hand. And I'm going to give you one for your right hand. Now you're not touching the handle at all. You're holding the handles of your tubing. You can make compressions or you can be stable. Do you feel like you're still touching something?
Yes, I do.
Can you do a little bit of elbow work with one arm at a time? Just one arm at a time, doing a little bit of elbow row, a little bit of flexion for the arms. Wonderful. And now, because you're still anchored to something in the hands, how does that feel versus being on top of the Bosu balance trainer touching nothing?
Well, it's better than touching nothing, but it's more challenging than holding on to the handle itself.
Exactly. So if you give me this handle, you can actually take this hand to this handle and now do some bicep curls this way. If that were too easy for you, because there's a reason why we call her Super Betty, can I give you both these in one hand? Just open your fingers, this hand stays on that handle, and now you have twice as much resistance to overcome. Are you still able to do it? Absolutely. When you lower down, we want to keep the tubing always taut. So you only want to lower about this far so that it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and then here is about the place where you would lose it. Otherwise, it's just wasting time, and when we're working with elastic resistance, it should always stay slightly taut. One more bicep curl there. Wonderful. And now let's place this left one into the left hand. And I'll give you this one in the left hand, and you can hold on if you want to, and do some elbow flexions, keeping this as taut as you can, keeping the wrist nice and neutral. Do you find that it gets harder the higher you go?
Yes, it does.
Right. And maybe you want to impress our friends by just holding on with your fingertips instead of gripping. And maybe when you do an elbow flexion, you want to add a little wave and then touch back again. Get your balance, recover your whole balance integration each time on top, a few times as you touch and lower down. There are many other exercises we can do with the tubing. This is just an example of how to add some standing balance by your holding the tubes that come already part of the whole system. We can do seated chest work, we could do supine work, which is face up work, and lots of other body parts. But for an introductory whole integration of the body, using the handle, making some marching, back to our cardiovascular exercises, adding our waving to our friends at home, this is sort of the introductory workout for the 3D system. Using the handles, using the approaches, and using the soft fitness ball and the tubing that comes with it for making yourself stronger, less likely to fall, increasing your whole gait efficiency while working, as Bernadette told you, cardio, strength, and flexibility. For these and many other active aging programs, please continue to check us out on SpiroFit.com.